Hello and welcome back. This is topic number 40 and a part 2 to my discussion on the topic of denial. Now, if you haven't watched my last video, I discussed about the 4 kinds of denials, which even though denial is very simple, it is actually categorized. That's basically what it's about in the last video. And the last video is quite long because I have quite a bit of explanation to do on what the 4 kinds of denials are. So for today, I'll be looking into how denial actually plays a role when it comes to interhuman relationships. So if you haven't watched the last video, I highly encourage that you go back and take a look at it. And with that aside, let's get into the main point. Now, we know that interhuman relationships requires a lot of elements to maintain it. You need trust, you need tolerance, you need love, and that is something that keeps going on. It's a long list of things that maintain a good relationship. However, we all know as much as good food can taste bad if not well prepared, good interhuman relationships can stink when any elements fail or any one party chooses to be the stinker. But the thing is, what is it that plays a major role in rotten human relationships? You talk about broken friendships, broken marriages, broken relationships. What is behind all this? Now, we can say that there's lack of tolerance, you can say there's lack of patience, we can say that both sides aren't willing to give and take. However, among these many elements, there's one thing that comes into play is denial. Let's take a few examples. A set of friends arguing, two people arguing over a matter. And how does that actually come into play? Now, don't tell me throughout the entire argument, regardless what kind of argument it is, I do have to give you an example. There is some kind of denial going on. One person will deny that something happened, or the person is going to deny having done something or having not done something. There is a denial that comes to place. Now, let's think about a marriage. You talk about husband and wife complaining about each other. You meant to tell me there's no denial in it? There is a whole lot of denial. You talk about the husband talking about the wife not doing the chores well enough. You're talking about the wife complaining about the husband not being at home long enough. And both sides are going to deny and give their justifications. But before the justifications, what's there? Denying the fact that I am wrong in this aspect. Same goes for a relationship when the boyfriend or the girlfriend starts complaining that he or she doesn't love me enough. All this drama. Is there denial? Tons of denial. Well, it's not that blah blah blah. Well, it's not that blah blah blah. I'm just not blah blah blah. All these nots or negative references have something to do with denial. And when it comes to all this, you realize that denial is actually the root cause. Regardless of whatever element you talk about, denial is the root cause to any problems in a human relationship. Now, you may be wondering, well, we have the right to say yes. Why don't we have the right to say no? It is true, and yes, we have to defend ourselves and we have to give justifications. But the problem is, this is when you're right. The problem comes when the wrong side starts denying. That is what causes conflict. If the one is in the wrong admits that it's wrong, do you think there will be a conflict in the first place? There won't be a conflict. Again, denial. And when you look at denial, humans love to deny things. And when you keep on denying, what's there to move on? Which is why I want to say, denial may be small. And when I give so many examples, let's just summarize it into a few simple points that you have to know. First of all, if you deny that you are weak, how are you supposed to let go of things? We're all weak. We cannot handle everything by our own. And when somebody starts to interfere, there are people who will think that they are good enough. They're way too good. They can handle everything. Well, failing to admit that you're weak, you can't let go. You're overly burdened. You're overly stressed. What happens? You break out. You lose your temper, and you lash out on people. You're going to hurt friendships. So, when it comes to relieving stress, you can't be in denial. That's one. Two, if you're in denial of your mistakes, you cannot change. It's very simple. I think this is one of the first examples that you can actually come out with. If you keep denying that you're wrong, how are you supposed to make it right? The first step to actually making things right is to not deny it. Admit. Even though you're not in the wrong, normally you have a contributing factor. It's something like you could have prevented. You are part of the chain. You may not be the root cause, but you are the contributing cause. Thirdly, patience. if you deny that everybody is different, how you're supposed to be patient with people? Now, what causes us that requires our patience? We have to resist the fact that people do this a different way. Be patient, it's going to work. This kind of scenario. If we deny the fact that people are different, how are we supposed to have patience with people? How are we supposed to tolerate people? That is the thing. Well, many people expect things to be the same. I want to be working with the same kind of people who are the same as me. The problem is, what makes a team versatile is the fact that they are different skill sets from different individuals. So if you start denying that people are different, you're basically a person who is not really to be patient. Normally, patient people embrace the fact that people are different. Think about it. And overall, if we cannot let go of things, if we cannot make things right, if we cannot tolerate things and have patience, how are we supposed to move on in life? Which is why there are so many people who cannot move on. They keep having to hold a grudge, resent over something, cannot let go of something. Which is why I'm going to open up a topic in part 3 where I'll be talking about playing the victim card. So I know I've been mumbling a lot, but I really have to make it clear and justify myself on why denial is such a big thing, bigger than it actually is. So before you get completely exhausted, I will say goodbye for this part, and I'll see you in the next part on the victim card. See ya.